and welcome to an honest review of the newest studio class, Stripped Down Songwriting with Her, HER, but I think she pronounces it her. So, as somebody who has been in the studio ecosystem, who has been taking classes with studio since before it was named studio, since basically the beginning, I've taken over half a dozen music courses with studio and have plans to continue. So this is my frank assessment of this course, Songwriting. Now, Songwriting with HER, in a moment I'll tell you about why I signed up for the course, the pros and cons, and whether or not you should take the course, or rather, who is best suited for a course like this. But let's first talk about how the course works. So what happens is, when you sign up for this course, you'll get access to the studio classroom. And here you're going to have class home. This is where your daily tasks are going to show up. Then you've got your curriculum where you can see what's up ahead. My dashboard, I guess you would call this classroom. All of these things are grayed out because I already completed them, but yours is going to be vivid color until you're done with the step. And they also give you the dates that you're supposed to complete each step. And then you can also see over here, there's a My Journey where you can see all of the different courses you've taken and all of the songs that you've written for not just this one course, but if you've taken other studio courses, it'll also be here in your timeline. And finally, down here, you've got your peer group where you can see other people's work and you can share and you can give feedback, leave comments, likes, that sort of thing. So how does this course work? Basically, it's just like every other studio class. You've got 30 days and you're going to complete 2 finished products. This isn't just a course where you're going to learn some theory and think you know everything and the end, go away. You're actually going to come out with something that you can show people, something that you can be proud of. In this case, it's going to be 2 songs written from scratch. One of them, you're going to start with the music, and then you're going to eventually create lyrics that go with the music, and then end up with a finished song. And then the part 2 is you do another song, but this time you're coming at it from the other angle. You're going to start with the lyrics, with the words, and then you're going to add music on top of that and create a finished song with that. So another thing is that Studio breaks these steps down into small chunks. So instead of throwing a bunch of videos at you all at once, what'll happen is when you sign up, you're going to get this onboarding and introduction section where you get to see a welcome video and you get to do all that beginning prep stuff. And then everybody starts at the same time on day 1 when you're going to have access to the first part of your course. And the course is broken down into several videos, and in between the videos you have assignments and peer feedback. So every few days, like sometimes it'll be 3 days, sometimes it'll be up to, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 days, you're going to turn in part of the song. So you're not going to, sit down and imbibe a ton of videos and then create a song from 0 to 100% finished and then throw it up there. Instead, the course breaks it down into manageable size pieces. So you produce part 1 of the song on a certain day, and then a few days later, part 2 is due, and then part 3, and then eventually you're going to have the whole song finished. And that's basically how this course works. Like I mentioned, you're going to turn in the project, and then your peers, part of your homework is to give feedback to your peers, and they give feedback to you as well. And you can see all of the feedback here in the peer group, but it's also on your individual assignment. Like when you turn something in, I'll show you what an assignment looks like. It looks like this. You turn it in, and you can actually go and see. It'll pop you over to the My Journey page where you can see your assignments and what people have said about it. So let's talk a little bit about why I decided to take this course with her. So I mentioned that I was with Studio since the beginning, and I have taken a lot of the other music courses, as you can see here in my dashboard. And the reason why is because I actually do have some musical training, but I didn't understand a whole lot about music production or songwriting, and those were my weak areas I really wanted to learn more about. And I found Studio, and they were teaching music production, so that's how I got into it. And when they said that there was this new class with her and she's going to be teaching songwriting, to be honest, I'll be very frank, I didn't know who this teacher was at first. But the fact that she's teaching songwriting and the fact that this is a studio class from this particular platform, I trust this platform, and so I decided to give it a chance. And also for two main huge reasons that are applicable to all of the classes across the studio platform, which is number one, the time limits. The problem with trying to be creative on your own is that it's very easy for people to procrastinate and to say, well, I'm too tired, I don't have time, whatever, I'll do it later, I'll do it tomorrow. But the problem is the more you procrastinate, the longer it takes to get anything done. And so I really love how Studio has this 30-day time limit, time frame, and that within the 30 days, they break things down into several day chunks, so 2-day chunks or 3-day chunks, where it's like, okay, on this day you should watch this video, on this day you turn in this part of the assignment, on this day you do some peer feedback for the other students in the class, and so on and so forth. Having that kind of discipline and structure is so helpful for me personally, and that's the reason why I keep taking studio classes, even when I don't know who the teacher is outside of studio. But anyways, there it is. The second reason is the peer feedback. So having other people to work alongside and having people to give feedback on your work, and actually this is also very important, you giving feedback to other people is a really important part of the learning process. It's very easy when you're trying to teach yourself something from just, I don't know, watching YouTube videos or reading books or however, it's very easy for you to kind of get lost inside of your head and not really know whether something's working or not, or you don't really know who to ask if you have questions. And the thing about having a peer group working alongside you is that you're all in the same boat, you're all working on the same thing at the same time, more or less. And so they know where you're coming from, you know where they're coming from. And within your peer group, you always have somebody who's better than you and somebody who's not as good as you. So what happens is the people who are better than you can learn from them. Sometimes it's because they left some really helpful comments on your work, which I've gotten some very valuable peer comments on my songs and music production homework. And sometimes it's just listening to their songs, to the things that they put out, can teach you things just by observing what they do and how they do it. And then if you have some peers who are not as experienced as you are, that's also a good opportunity for you to reach out, give helpful commentary and feedback, and learn something in the process. You know, you can learn a lot from teaching other people as well. And just having that sense of camaraderie, knowing that you're not alone, that's very helpful to staying on track and continuing to be creative and learn, etc., etc. So let's talk specifically about this course, her songwriting course. If you're interested in songwriting, I would say this is a very beginner-friendly course. It's not extremely complicated. You're not going to learn crazy music theory or anything super difficult to wrap your mind around. I would say this course is very well suited for somebody who's just starting out with songwriting. However, it does help if you have a little bit of a musical background, or at least that you've listened to a lot of music and you have a sense for what kind of music you like, what kind of songs you want to write, and so on and so forth. This teacher, she has her own musical style, but the people who take the class, you don't have to follow her style. You can write your song in any style you like. And it's just mostly the ability to follow along with somebody's process that can be very valuable. You can watch her think out loud how she comes up with her chords, her choruses, her lyrics. It's always been very interesting to me to watch other creative people at work and see their process from beginning to end. Even if they're not necessarily in my genre, that's okay. You can still learn a lot from that. And that's what happened to me watching her it's pun, do what she does, how she comes up with lyrics. There's some really interesting kind of moments in those videos where I was thinking to myself, oh, I wouldn't have done that, or oh, that's a really neat idea. So there's also a part in this course where she collaborates with a friend of hers, and it's neat to see the two of them talk and think through their song as well. Right here, the part 2, she actually works with a collaborator on the second song. So anyways, overall, I would say the pros and cons of this course. Pros, like I mentioned, having that accountability with a peer group, having that accountability with the time constraints and the scheduling, the bite-sized pieces of the steps that you can take to get to where you want to go. Cons, if you're an extremely, extremely experienced musician and you're not that interested in basic songwriting, I mean, this isn't super basic, but it is more geared towards beginners. You might not be as interested in this course. However, I think it's still a valuable experience to see another songwriter go through her process and show what she's thinking behind the scenes by herself and with a friend. So I would say even if you are an experienced songwriter, you can benefit from that. So in the end, I would say if you are very interested in music in general, in songwriting, if you're just starting out, if you're kind of on the way but you'd like to have a little bit more support, if you like working with people, if you like having some scheduling, structure, discipline in your creative process, you like seeing behind the scenes, this course is for you. Go ahead and give it a try. And the most important thing is that not only are you going to learn a lot, you're going to come away with tangible mementos of the learning process that you've gone through. 2 finished songs that you can be proud of, that you can show to your friends and your family. Maybe something like this.
Don't be afraid to love the broken, bind up their wounds, renew their hope, untie them from the chains that bind them to their destruction. Don't hesitate.